It's Tuesday, July 19th, 2016. You know, there was once a time in my life where I was broken. I was corrupted by drugs and evils of this world. And I had a friend. For this, I'm gonna just call him Sam. So, me and my friend Sam, we used to do drugs together. Oxycontins, synthetic heroin, manufactured by our government. Well, these drugs will literally rob you of your soul. They will make you forget all righteousness in this world, and you will descend into the darkness, into madness. But early in the morning, I get a call from a friend Sam, and he starts telling me a story. Him and a couple of his other friends were sitting around at his house, playing cards, drinking, getting high, doing cocaine, doing pills. And his friend is sitting at the table, and they got he's got a 38 special revolver sitting on the table, and they're playing cards, and they get to talking about the problems with life, and got into some kind of depressing conversation. And this friend of Sam, he picks up this gun, and he looks my friend in the eye, and he said, "What if I just pulled this trigger and BAM!" Blew his brains all over my friend's ceiling. He shot himself right at my friend's dining room table while they were playing cards, and literally blew his brains on the wall. Now, I didn't witness this, but the events that followed were dramatic. So I get a call from Sam, and he tells me this story, and he says, "Man, I need to get into my house. I need to get some clothes. I've been out in my car all night." He said, "I can't go in there alone, brother." So I was a little disturbed. So I said, "Yeah, I'll be right over." So I go over to his house, and he's outside waiting for me. And he's getting high, So I'm like, "Man, this is crazy, man," and I could just see he was terribly distraught, So he's like, "Man, you want some of this?" So I'm like, "Yeah." So I did some cocaine. I'm already high on oxys, because you gotta have them when you're addicted. You gotta have them or you can't function. So I'm like, "Yeah." So we get high, and we go in the house, right? And as soon as I walk in the door, I can feel it, but back then I wasn't awake. I wasn't awake to the things that I know now, so I could feel this darkness. And my friend, he's showing me, his girlfriend or whatever, they cleaned up, because they just came and got the body. The paramedics got the body or whatever, and just left the mess. So they cut the carpet out and all this stuff. So most of the blood was gone, but you could still see splatter. You could see the splatter on the walls, on the ceiling. And my friend is just breaking down, And he's like, "Man, I sat on the couch and I was trying to talk to the cops, and I put my hand down and I picked my hand up and I looked, and there was little pieces of skull and on my hand. It was on the couch. There was pieces of his brain on my hand, and he is freaking out. And I'm like, man, Sam, man, just get your stuff. Get what you need, man. Let's get out of here, because I can feel this darkness. It's on me. I'm sad now. I'm depressed. I'm a wreck. So he gathers some things up, and we go back to my place. And my oldest son, my stepson, he's at my house. I love you, brother. So we walk into my house, and this darkness is on me now. I can feel it. I'm tormented. I start getting really depressed. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. My friends, he's angry and he's frustrated. And we get high some more, and then we get to arguing about something stupid. I mean, I don't even remember what it was that we got to arguing about. But we both just got to yelling and cussing at each other and all this madness, right? So then, I carried a .357 revolver on me at all times. And I don't know if you ever seen what a .357 hollow point could do to the human body, but it'll blow bones out your back. It will make a mess. It'll put a man straight on the ground with force. And I start freaking out, and I get up and I scream, and he goes in the other room, and I'm standing in my kitchen in front of the refrigerator, and I start breaking down, and I'm yelling and I'm screaming, and I said, God, I can't take this place anymore. And I pulled my gun out of my waist and put it straight to my head and pulled the trigger. Bam! The shot went off. My ears exploded, ringing, pain. I felt this pressure in my head, but the bullet didn't hit me. I don't know where the bullet went. Now, I'm a pretty good shot. From at least 50, 100 feet away, I could hit a bullseye. There's no way I missed my head. And at the time, I'm high, and I just kind of wrote it off, I guess. I was traumatized by it, but my friend, he freaks out and he runs out of the house. My stepson was in the other room. He comes running in and he's like, what is going on? My friend is traumatized. He's like, no way did this just happen. He just seen his other friend blow his brains out in his dining room. And then I just almost did the same thing. And at the time, I didn't know what happened. I chalked it up to drugs, or I missed, or whatever. But no, I cried out in that moment of despair, in my moment of darkness. Those demons were on us. We were weak and we were corrupted by drugs, and those demons were on us. And that spirit of decay made his friend take his life and almost made me take mine. But I cried out in my moment of despair, and I said, God, I can't take it. And he stopped that bullet. I don't know what happened. He jerked my hand. I don't know what happened, but I put it to my head. Thinking back on it now, there's no other explanation. It was divine intervention. I have a purpose. It wasn't ready. It wasn't my time to go. And even though I was broken down, I still had that faith of God, and I cried out at the last moment. And he spared my life. He spared my soul. He wouldn't let me damn myself. He wouldn't let that spirit of decay damn me for eternity. This is how great the power of God is. You better believe, you see. Because these demons are real, and they're lurking, they're waiting for that moment of weakness to get you. You see, because we all got this little fire in us, this little pilot light, like an old furnace with a pilot light. burning in all of us. It's the spirit. It's the fire of God, you see. See, this fire needs fuel. This fire requires fuel, see. And when God pours the spirit, his spirit out on you, it's like fuel. It's like when that gas hits that pilot light and that furnace ignites into a blaze. Extinguishes all the darkness. See? And when you get right with God and you get your spirit right, he gives you that fuel. He puts his spirit on you and he ignites that pilot light. He ignites that little flame into a ball of fire that extinguishes the darkness. Do you understand what I'm saying? This stuff is so serious, people. Bad things are coming. Now, before I got started with this little video, I did what I do, and I asked God for his word. I said a prayer, and I opened my book. I opened my Bible, and this is what God told me. This is the page he gave me, so this is the page I'm going to read. The epistle of Paul, the apostle, to the Romans, chapter 1, verse 16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. For herein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God hath showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that, when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever and ever. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into which it is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned in their lust towards one another, men with men working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was met. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind, to do those things which are not convenient, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. Therefore thou art inexcusable, O man, whosoever thou art O man, whosoever thou art that judgest. For wherein thou judgest another, thou condemnest thyself, for thou that judgest does the same things. Amen. The truth is my sword, and God is my judge.